Kane is in the building.
I'm going to be talking about how long it takes you to get the results that you want, how long you should spend in each period of your training, and how long you should allocate for a goal, and how long it basically takes to get there, and what's the most beneficial way of doing things. So rather than you doing it the wrong way and make mistakes that I see made every day in the gym and that I made myself, I'm going to try and guide you using this whiteboard on one way and another, and then explain reasons for and against. All good? Right, so who's this video for? This video is for someone who wants to build muscle, wants to build a lot of muscle, wants to get in the best shape of their life, effectively. Now, I'm going to go down the assumption that you're already someone who trains, and if you're not, then this is still going to be beneficial to you anyway. You'll need to be in a position where you need to understand that building muscle requires adequate nutrition and adequate training. They come hand in hand. Now, you can't expect to train and not eat enough and not eat to fuel your training and get results of the highest level. So, as a newbie in the gym, yeah, you can make good progress with just training initially, but there's going to come a point where you need to combine training and diet to get the most out of what you're doing. So, and everyone wants results ASAP. We're in a world where we live off instant gratification. However, it isn't that simple with getting in shape. Like, you're not going to get the results you want with your body in 12 weeks. Unless you're already have a good amount of muscle, then you can get really lean. It isn't as easy as I'm going to start going to the gym in 12 weeks I want to be massive and shredded. So, but there are ways we can do things to ensure that we make the most progress as efficiently as possible, so that you can build the physique that you want over a good amount of time. So this isn't going to be a channel where I sell you and I try to sell you a guide or an ebook of getting in shape in 8 weeks, because that's never going to happen. But you can get great results on a fat loss plan in 8 weeks, but this isn't going to build you the muscle that you want to build long term. So this is going to be a post, like a video on off-season approaches and how to get the most out of your off-season and how to ensure that you get the most out of it efficiently, so effectively. So we're going to use two examples. So we're going to use Bob and Dave. So Bob, Dave. Now I hope you can see this. I'll move it closer towards the end, and I will do like a screenshot as well. I'm figuring out this whole YouTube editing thing, so bear with me, but I'm doing my best. Bob is, both of these guys are training well. This is going down the assumption that they both train well. This is a nutritional thing. Actually, what we'll do is we'll go down the route of aggressive. So Bob is aggressive with his approach, and he wants to see results fast, which everyone does, which is understandable. He wants results fast. Dave is adamant that he's going to build the body that he wants. Adamant, which is a good word. But he is prepared to put in the time and effort required. So prepared to put the time in. Prepared to invest time. So now, if we were in a classroom, I would say to you, which would be the side that you'd sit on, and which do you think is going to be a more efficient way of doing things. So this is basically stating that Dave, he's a lot more patient, however it doesn't mean he's not going to work hard. So what we've got with Bob is he hops from training plan to training plan, hops from training plan to training plan, basically waiting for something to, he's throwing things against the wall and hoping something that sticks. Plan. And then he does the same with his diet. So he'll spend 3 weeks in a calorie surplus. He'll get a little bit fluffy. He'll be super aggressive with his calorie surplus, and then within 3 weeks he's back in his diet. Whereas we've got Dave, who's very tactile with his approach. So his training doesn't change. He's got a program and he's logging his lifts and he's aiming to make as much progress as he can until this program gets to the point where he can't make any more progress. And he knows that he can spend a good 18 months just continuously progressing calories and progressing his lifts, and this is going to get him a lot of muscle tissue. So he's opting for the progressive overload, progressive training, progressive eating. But he still is very careful with his approach, so he doesn't go too high with food too soon. He's in a calorie surplus, but he adds a pound a week or half a pound a week. He isn't going at big jumps of 5 pounds a week. He isn't trying to gain weight too fast. He's being patient and he's understanding that it takes time. Now we've got, especially in the gym that I work in, it's a commercial gym, a lot of people are being Bobs. Not many people are being Daves. So this is where this video is going to come into play, and I hope that you can transition from a Bob into a Dave, because it's going to get you better results. So this is what Bob does with his diet. Let's say they're both maintenance calories are let's say 2,500 calories a day. Bob thinks, I want to get massive fast. He goes on a 5,000 calorie a day diet. Let's say he lasts 6 weeks, which is hard to do. If you try to eat 5,000 calories a day for 6 weeks, you're going to struggle, and it's going to be, I'll take my hat off to you for doing it, because this is hard. This takes work, and no discredit to Bob, because this is going to be a lot of work for him to put in. But if he can put 6 weeks worth of 5,000 calorie days in, he will put on, let's say he puts on 20 pounds. And in that 6 weeks, he can make progress with his training, provided he doesn't hop on from training plan to training plan. So he can get his strength up to a decent level, but it isn't going to progress massively. Whereas in comparison, Dave, he opts for an approach where he eats 3,000 to 3,200 calories a day. So he's on like a 500 to 700 calorie surplus, which for him is enough to fuel his recovery. It's good for his digestion, so he feels good. His training intensity stays high because he isn't feeling sluggish from eating so much food. He's eating healthy single ingredient foods, so that he isn't feeling the side effects of eating dirty foods. So he's in a really good place with his training. So he's able to do run his off season for 12 months without having to back off at any point. Now, and he builds in this time. He puts on, let's say 30 pounds. He would need to progressively increase his food in this time, so he'll probably get to a point where he'll throw another 200 calories in every month. So by the end of the year, he's looking at probably about 4,500 calories. But we've progressively got to this point, and he'll have days where on rest days that he pulls calories back a little bit, just to ensure that his sensitivity for insulin and things like that remains as high as possible for him to build as much muscle as he can. So you've now got a 12-month program where Dave's doing a 12-month calorie surplus, and in this time he can build so much more strength, which is very important with regards to building the amount of muscle you want to build. So if you imagine they're both bench pressing or deadlifting, let's go with dead, bench and squat. At the beginning of this program, they were both deadlifting 80 kilos because they're new to training. Their bench press was 60 kilos and their squat was 70 kilos. In 6 weeks, how much progress can Bob make with regards to his strength when he's feeding himself a surplus of calories, which is what is required to continuously progress your lifts? Bob gets his deadlift to, let's say, 100 kilos. In Dave's off season, he gets his deadlift to 200 kilos. This is doable. In a year of good training and good eating, you can do maybe not that much, but you can definitely make a lot more progress than 20 kilos. Bench, 60 kilos, Bob gets to 80 kilos, Dave gets to 120 kilos. This is because he's putting more time into the goal that he's chasing. It doesn't happen overnight. Muscle isn't built. You can only build muscle at a certain rate. So regardless of how much you give yourself in regards to training and nutrition, you can only get so much muscle in so much time. So the longer we can spend in a calorie surplus, the more muscle we can build, provided we're doing all the things right with our training and with our diet. So I will do a real quick screenshot of this when I'll make it look a little nicer, and hopefully this will give you an idea on what you should be doing and how you should be approaching your training this year and your diet to enable you to yield the best results you can get with regards to how much muscle you build, how lean you stay in the process. Because don't forget, Bob's going to get fat quick. He isn't going to look great. Whereas Dave, if he can keep things ticking over nicely, he isn't going to build that much. He isn't going to gain that much body fat. It's inevitable that he will gain some, but he isn't going to look ever as watery or as fluffy as Bob, because he's looking after his diet. He isn't going too aggressive too soon. There will come a time and a place where you'll need 5,000 calories a day to build muscle. There might not, but with most people, that your food demands will increase as your body weight goes up. This is inevitable, and as the amount of muscle you go up, you have increases. Your diet intake will have to reflect that. But generally speaking, to make the most progress you can in year one or in the early stages of training where you haven't maxed out your training and your diet, this is the advice that I would give, and something that I would recommend to anyone looking to build the physique and lay down good foundations to the body that they want to build. So take your time, but be consistent and be adamant that the results you're going to get are going to happen. You just need to put the work in. So believe it in yourself and just do the work every day, and your results will be spot on. But if you have any questions on this, then please ask, and hopefully this will give you a good insight into the way I'd like to do things and the way I'd recommend you doing things. But yeah, if you have any questions, then please ask or comment below. Cheers, guys. So here's a screenshot of the whiteboard that I've just written the Bob and Dave program on. And just a few things to end on, really. The goal of any program, when you're aiming to get as big as possible, must be to solidify your strength in the tissue that you've built. So you need to be prepared to put in and invest time into this, because you can't solidify strength in tissue in a 6-week program. You have to put time into it. So this is what you need to strive for and what you need to work towards. Obviously, the amount of weight you can build and gain in the first year of training is going to be subjective. However, based on where you're starting from and where you're looking to go and your current level of body fat, but it all comes down to a case of this: get as strong as possible, because this is going to get us the results that we want to build from then onwards. So hopefully this gives you a good guide onto where to get started. And if you have any questions, then please ask.
Kane is in the building.